last week to kick it off? Was this an angry bird?
Yeah, I think so. Especially at the end. But we're going to go back and watch this and see a lot of things and break it down and, realize that the game probably could have been a different spot. But at the end of the day, the way that we've been talking about it is go win the game. And we had to get a stop on defense. We went all the way to the 1 yard line. We got that stop. Tyleek goes out. We got a send. Came back in the game and a few other guys. We get that stop, and then we get the ball back there. Over 4 minutes to go, and over 4 minutes to go. Yeah. And was that what it was? Yeah. And to finish that drive the way we did, I think it's just going to springboard our physicality, our toughness as we head into the back half of the season. But these guys won it, and one of the things we talked about this week was that in life you're going to have these opportunities where you got to go will yourself to win. You got to go take something. You got to go find a way to get that thing done, whether it's for your family, for your career, or the game of football. And our guys did that today. They did. And I'm really happy for this team. I'm happy for the seniors. And I think this is going to springboard us moving forward.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I don't think it's overstating to say this team was at a crossroads coming into this game. How important was this win? The loss was devastating. How big is this win?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, Bill, that we were at a crossroads. This wasn't the game for us. We didn't really want to publicly say that, but we said that behind closed doors. It's a big game for us for a lot of reasons. And to get a top 5 win like this on a road in a tough environment, moving Donnie over to left tackle, and we felt like going into this game was going to be a difficult environment. We knew we had to win the rushing yards. The turnover battle was going to be big, and then exploits. And so we had to really focus on those things. But at the end of the day, we had to find a way to get a stop and get that extra first down. And that's what it's going to come down to. And so I think this is going to build us moving forward. But for our guys to get this win is going to go a long way. Guys came back on this team for a reason. It's to go win the rivalry game, win the Big Ten championship, win the national championship. So along the way, I think there was this conversation about the expectations and all those types of things. And I said to the team, there's no great accomplishments that happen without going through adversity. It's just the truth. You don't just walk into a season and think you're going to go reach your goals. It doesn't work. It's just not the way life works. And so you get backed up against the wall. You got to respond. That is life. So all of our goals are in front of us now, and we've been through a lot. And now we have to continue to build as we head into the back half of the season. But I can tell you, coming out of that locker room right there, there's a lot of guys in the room that are excited. Probably the most animated locker room I've been in a long time. So now, what are we going to do with it moving forward? But we are going to enjoy this tonight. Coaches, players, staff, everybody involved, because this was a moment that we have to enjoy. There's a lot of work that's been put in for this game.
Over to the right, Dan Hope, Left Warriors.
Ryan, just defense, to have its backs against the wall in that situation and get that goal line stand, just what kind of springboard do you think that can be for this defense the rest of the year?
Well, think about last week, we had it on the 1, and then we get the interception by Igbenogson, going at the end of the half, and then you add this one into it, so it shows you that there's a grit, there's a toughness, there's a never give up, give me an inch, I'm going to defend it type mentality. You got to give Jim and the entire staff credit on defense for their preparation going into this game. Penn State does an excellent job of changing formations, motionings, different looks. They got Warren back there at quarterback, and it looks like he's about in on that play, and he's just short, and we found a way to get the stand. So, when it comes down to the players, coaches can put you in a situation, but the players got to go do it. They did it, and I'm proud of them.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Right. Obviously, it's been an interesting, I think, past 10 months for Carson. Obviously, having a job last year, losing a job this year. What did you guys see in him this week in practice that put him in a position to be ready, and where you're seeing him from a development standpoint over the last
We went with experience. That was the decision we made. In this environment, we went with experience. Now, I don't know what he's going to grade out at, but we didn't notice him much, and that's a good sign for a guard. So we'll get on the film and see how we did. But I think his experience paid off, and he was a big part of this win.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, you talked about an animated locker room, and maybe one of the most animated you've ever been in when that game closed out. I know you don't like to listen to the noise, but for you personally, did this is there justification in terms of the way you've always talked about toughness, you talked about closing it out, defense did it, offense did it? Is that, I mean, can you just expand on your emotions that day? Was it relief? What was it?
Yeah, there's a lot there to probably unpack, and I'm not going to get into all of it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes with being the head coach of Ohio State, and you can say ignore everything that goes on, but your players read it, your coaches read it, your staff members read it, your families read it, and you got to stay strong in those moments. But that entire team, families, they all believe, and so to go do that and accomplish that, what we did today in this game, in a top 5 victory. It feels good right now. We've still got a lot of football ahead of us, but yeah, right now it feels good. And I'm proud of our team, and I'm proud of our coaching staff.
Folks, we're going to have players outside the back of our locker room here momentarily. Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, I don't know how much you heard of Will, but he was pretty emotional coming off the field and in here. Just what did he give you, bouncing back from 2 big mistakes to seal it at the end with the slide there, which felt kind of justified after the Oregon game?
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that. I thought he was just going to continue. But what he gives us is a toughness at quarterback, and having him as a weapon running the ball. You saw the run that he had when the ball squared out. I mean, that was a really executed play, really well executed play. Trivion had an unbelievable block on that play, so it was gut wrenching because it was so well executed that guys were getting after people and finishing everybody to the ground, and the ball squirts out of the 1-yard line. And it's literally like taking a shot right to the stomach. But there's nothing you can do. You got to regroup and keep playing. And that's a sign of somebody who is resilient, who's been through it before, and he willed it to happen. He did. And he had a look in his eye all week that he was not going to lose this game. Whether it was because it was a top 5 team or it was from the state of Pennsylvania, a place that he grew up, wanted to be a Nittany Lion. I think all that probably played into it. He just refused to lose, and that mentality helped us win that.
This will be the final question for Coach Tim May, Letterman Road.
Yeah, Brian, you've been in a game with so many key, crazy, game-turning plays. I mean, the ball, like you said, coming off Will Howard's knee there and goes out of bounds, touchback. But Quinchon, David Zig-Benozin gets a holding call or pass interference call. This play, it's one of the most crazy interceptions you've ever seen. Just put that in your perspective.
So I went last night at the hotel. I went back through and I picked out probably 50 plays from the game 2 years ago here. If you remember that first half, that was almost as crazy. And I said to the guys at halftime, I don't know what's going to happen, but there's going to be a score. And it's probably going to be around 14-10, 17-14. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. It was like, you get to halftime, whoa. It was the same way, if you remember, 2 years ago. And then even in the second half, it was craziness. And then JT got a bunch of turnovers and the game flipped real quick. So we were sort of prepared for a crazy game that way. It just happens here against Penn State. And we're going to go back and look at ways that we felt like maybe we could have won by multiple scores and all that. But ultimately, you got to go win the game in the fourth quarter regardless of the score. So that was one of those crazy games.
Coach,